Welcome to a high-speed deep dive into the world of global entertainment. Today, we are breaking down a fascinating conversation between host and entrepreneur Nikhil Kamath and the co-CEO of Netflix, Ted Sarandos. They explore the origins of the streaming giant, the transition from mailing DVDs to digital dominance, and the radical corporate culture that keeps the company on top. Ted kicks things off by highlighting his deep connection to India. Having just arrived in the country, he has already been on the move, meeting with ministers and speaking at major events. In fact, Ted shared that his itinerary is packed with high-level engagements, as seen during his recent appearance at the Waves Global Summit. But beyond the official meetings, he shares a special bond with one of India's biggest icons.
Early in coming to India, I met Shah Rukh Khan right away, early. And he hosted a very nice little dinner for me, and we just hit it off immediately.
Having dinner with Shah Rukh Khan in India, Ted notes, is a much different experience than hanging out with him in Los Angeles.
Shifting gears to his legendary career, Ted reflects on his recent 25th anniversary at Netflix. Host Nikhil Kamath mentions his own interactions with Netflix co-founder Reed Hastings, setting the stage for Ted to take us back to October 1999. At the time, Ted was working in the home video business, and Reed Hastings was trying to figure out how to keep his growing company afloat. Netflix was burning through cash, buying inventory from retail stores to fulfill demand for a quirky new service. Back then, Netflix wasn't a streaming giant. It was a mail-order service where customers rented movies that arrived in distinctive envelopes. Ted flew to San Jose to meet Reed at a warehouse-like office. Reed laid out a vision that, frankly, sounded a bit unhinged in 1999.
He laid out his vision for Netflix, which was almost exactly like it is right now. It would be all digital. The DVD through the mail thing was just the cheapest way to move bits from here to there right now.
In the late 90s, the idea of global internet television sounded like science fiction. Video on the web was terrible. Ted admits he initially questioned if Reed was playing with a full deck. However, Reed was betting on a fundamental law of technology to turn his crazy idea into reality.
He said to me, well, there's a thing called Moore's Law. The internet is going to get twice as fast at half the price every 18 months. And that's exactly what happened.
Reed Hastings was counting on the rapid acceleration of internet speeds and plunging costs, defined by Moore's Law, to make streaming viable. Ted wasn't actively looking for a job. But Reed kept calling. When Ted explained his messy situation at his current company, saying they really needed him, Reed had a classic, deadpan response. He goes, well, they need you in third world countries feeding starving children. Why aren't you doing that? That punchline won Ted over. And he took the job to run purchasing and programming. Building on that early foundation, Nikhil turns the conversation toward the unique corporate culture that defines Netflix. He brings up the time Reed stepped in to take over as CEO from co-founder Mark Randolph. This leadership shift signaled a broader philosophy about how Netflix would operate moving forward, prioritizing speed, testing, and top-tier talent above all else.
Ted explains that as companies grow, they often create layers of bureaucracy and rules that stifle innovation. To combat this, Netflix pioneered a concept that Reed introduced early on, even when the company only had around 175 employees.
The concept was called talent density, the idea that a company should intensely focus on hiring and retaining only the absolute best performers. Reed argued that as startups get big, they start hiring people who prefer environments with lots of rules, shifting the focus away from the core mission. The solution was simple but incredibly strict. You can idiot-proof your business, but then you're gonna end up with a business full of idiots. So the idea was really focus on talent density and tell everybody upfront. This is gonna be a great place to work. But that bar is gonna be held very, very high. This high-stakes environment demands rigorous hiring principles, ensuring that the mission stays central even as the company expands to tens of thousands of employees. From mailing discs to dominating the global digital landscape, Ted Sarandos continues to lead with the same visionary energy that started it all. Thanks for tuning into this recap of a true masterclass in business, culture, and media.